Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking something that usually feels incredibly abstract, workplace drive and motivation, and we're turning it into a tangible, engineered architectural blueprint. Instead of treating employee morale like some mysterious force of nature that you just have to hope for, we're going to look at it through the highly structured lens of the Architecting Excellence framework. And let me tell you, getting this right is an absolute game changer, because architecting true motivation doesn't just make people smile at their desks, it fundamentally improves organizational and even national productivity, and, surprisingly enough, it actively reduces overall healthcare costs by eliminating chronic workplace stress. I absolutely love taking big, complex ideas and structuring them so we can actually use them in the real world, and that is exactly what we're going to do with motivation today.
So let's dive right in by asking the core question that practically every manager, executive, or team leader eventually has to face. What actually creates sustainable motivation in your team? I mean, how do you build a drive that lasts beyond Monday morning, beyond the initial hype of a new project, and pushes right through the difficult grinds of the quarter?
We often fall for this really common myth. We think motivation is just a fleeting emotion, sparked by sudden inspiration or a temporary pep talk. But the reality? The reality is vastly different. True, lasting motivation is actually a carefully engineered system built on very specific structural pillars. It's not magic, guys. It's architecture.
Here is our blueprint for today's explainer. We'll start with the overall blueprint for motivation. Lay the foundation with purpose and discipline. Explore our catalysts and anchors. Dig into the multiplier of equity and fairness. And finally, bring it all together with the complete leadership model.
All right, Phase 1, the blueprint for motivation. Let's look at how we engineer workplace drive.
Instead of relying on random bursts of inspiration, we're going to look at motivation as a solid, undeniable architecture built on 8 actionable pillars: purpose, discipline, empowerment, collaboration, growth, security, equity, and protocols. The source material makes a really vital point here that I want to emphasize. When these specific elements are in place, employees don't just feel energized, they feel deeply valued and comprehensively protected. And it's that precise combination, being valued and protected, that actually inspires people to perform at their absolute highest level.
Moving into Phase 2, let's pour the foundation of our structure: purpose and discipline. This is all about meaning and mechanics. The absolutely crucial takeaway for purpose is that employees truly thrive when they understand exactly why their work matters. Leaders have to clarify the mission, connect daily tasks to real outcomes, and share success stories. That middle action, that's everything. Think about it. If someone is just entering data into a spreadsheet all day, they need to know how that specific data actively saves a client's business or how it prevents a massive system failure down the line. Doing this isn't just about giving directions. It's about creating a deep emotional commitment. Purpose creates meaning and direction, and without it, you're literally just laying bricks without knowing what kind of building you're constructing. Now, discipline acts as the engine of achievement. And I know you might think discipline sounds a bit rigid for a conversation about motivation, but hear me out. Motivation only becomes sustainable when it's supported by disciplined systems. By setting clear deliverables, defining timelines, tracking progress, and, this is a big one, actively removing obstacles, leaders turn good, abstract intentions into highly predictable results. Discipline provides the mechanics that keep the meaning moving forward.
Next up, Phase 3, catalysts. This is where we use empowerment, collaboration, and growth to accelerate high performance. These 3 accelerators work sequentially to completely transform your team. Step 1 is empowerment. This means giving your team the authority, the resources, and the backing they need. It's autonomy, but paired with real accountability. Step 2 is collaboration, which focuses on shared problem-solving and leveraging collective intelligence. And Step 3 is growth, creating an environment of continuous learning, stretch assignments, and solid mentorship. When you layer these 3 steps together, you transform passive employees into proactive problem solvers who drive long-term innovation. Because when people feel they're genuinely becoming better versions of themselves at work, their loyalty and their confidence just skyrocket.
Looking specifically at collaboration, this requires leaders to actively break down departmental silos. It multiplies your capability, for sure, but it doesn't happen by accident. You have to actively encourage shared problem solving and build cross-functional teams. It's also vital to make sure information flows freely and to step in and resolve conflicts early. When you stop conflicts before they fester, you multiply the team's collective intelligence rather than draining its energy.
All right, Phase 4, anchors. Let's talk about security and protocols and providing the stability needed for innovation.
Job security is the ultimate anchor of stability here. It drastically reduces anxiety, which, going back to what we touched on earlier, doesn't just strengthen long-term commitment, it physically reduces burnout and lowers overall organizational health costs. It's huge. Leaders build this anchor by providing absolute role clarity, maintaining totally transparent performance systems, enacting fair HR policies, and keeping the organizational structure stable. And crucially, you have to continually communicate future plans. A stable environment isn't a stagnant one. It's exactly what's required to foster high-level innovation because people actually feel safe enough to take smart risks.
Now, we define protocols exactly as the source material does. We're not talking about restrictive, suffocating red tape. We're talking about the literal backbone of organizational clarity. Clearly written protocols eliminate confusion, reduce conflict, and ensure consistent decision-making. By documenting workflows and training people on how to use them, leaders protect their employees from arbitrary decisions or suddenly moving goalposts. Protocols prevent misunderstandings and create a profound sense of order, stability, and confidence across the board.
Moving to Phase 5, what we call the multiplier, equity and fairness. This is the moral core of our blueprint.
Equity and fairness ensure that every single employee is treated with dignity, respect, and total impartiality. Rather than just treating this like checking a compliance box, leaders must apply policies consistently across everyone and aggressively prevent favoritism, bias, and discrimination. You have to ensure equal access to opportunities and use completely transparent criteria for rewards and promotions. Why does this matter so much? Because these actions build trust, reduce friction, and create a true culture of justice. Equity and fairness are absolutely not optional add-ons. They are essential for sustainable motivation, and they vastly strengthen your organizational unity.
Finally, Phase 6, the motivational leadership model. Let's tie all of these architectural elements together into one master plan.
When we map out this complete model, we can see exactly how each leadership action directly impacts both the employee's internal mindset and the organization's external capability. It's a direct chain reaction. When you clarify purpose, the employee experiences meaning and the organization gains alignment. When you empower teams, the employee gains confidence, which translates right into speed. Guaranteeing equity builds deep trust, resulting in absolute organizational integrity. Every single action has a distinct, engineered reaction. And when these organizational impacts compound across a company, you don't just get a better business, you actively drive up national productivity. It scales that much.
So, the crucial non-obvious insight I really want you to take away from this explainer is that equity, fairness, and clear protocols amplify everything else we've just discussed. When employees know beyond a shadow of a doubt that they're going to be treated fairly, evaluated consistently, and protected by clear rules, they become more confident, far more collaborative, and deeply committed. Remember this core truth: fairness is not just a nice-to-have value, it is a massive performance accelerator. As we wrap up this blueprint, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to reflect on regarding your own workplace and your own leadership style. Are you just demanding motivation, or are you architecting it? Are you just sitting around hoping for random sparks of inspiration, or are you actively engineering the structural foundation that makes high performance inevitable? When you architect excellence, you don't just build a better team, you drive macro productivity, you lower the real-world health costs of burnout, and you fundamentally change lives for the better. Thanks so much for walking through this framework with me today.